Spoliation. The word courts use for destroying evidence, accidentally or intentionally, and the consequence, devastating adverse inference instruction. The jury is told to assume the destroyed evidence was harmful to you, terminating sanctions. Case dismissed. Default judgment entered against you. Monetary sanctions, kichi, attorney fees on top, in extreme cases, criminal charges, all for missing one legal hold, all for not preserving one mailbox. Welcome to eDiscovery, where the rules of civil litigation collide with digital evidence, and the cost of getting it wrong is sometimes the entire case. eDiscovery is not a criminal investigation. Different driver, different scope, different rules. Criminal investigation, police, prosecutor, suspect. Federal rules of evidence, targeted. Specific systems, specific suspect. eDiscovery, civil litigation or regulatory inquiry. Both sides, plaintiff and defendant, collect and review. Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, FRCP. Scope is often huge. Entire organization, thousands of custodians. Output, reviewed documents for production. Forensic output, a report for court. Different worlds. But the chain of custody discipline is the same. Lose the chain in eDiscovery and you lose your client's case. Lose it in forensics and you lose the prosecution. EDRM, Electronic Discovery Reference Model. 9 stages in order, information, governance. Manage data through its life cycle. Reduce eDiscovery burden. Identification. Locate potentially relevant ESI across all custodians and systems. Preservation. Protect identified ESI from alteration. Legal holds. Collection. Gather ESI from identified sources. Chain of custody throughout. Processing. Reduce volume. Extract text and metadata. Deduplicate. Review. Human or assisted review for relevance and privilege. Technology assisted review. TAR. Predictive coding. Analysis. Understand content and context. Communication mapping. Timeline analysis. Production. Deliver responsive documents to the requesting party. Native format TIFF plus metadata. Load files. Presentation. Use the ESI at trial or hearing. Memorize the order. The exam tests it directly. Legal hold. The discipline that prevents spoliation. Trigger. Litigation threatened, filed, or regulatory inquiry received. Even reasonably anticipated, not just filed. Identification. Identify custodians. Individuals who have the data. Data sources. Notice. Issue written. Legal hold notice. To custodians. To IT. To records management. Verbal holds are insufficient. Acknowledgment. Collect written acknowledgement from every custodian. Implementation. Suspend auto-delete. Preserve email archives. Snapshot databases. Monitoring. Periodically remind custodians. Monitor for compliance. Release. Formal written release notice when the hold is no longer required. Consequence chain if you skip a step. Adverse inference. Terminating sanctions, monetary sanctions, sometimes criminal charges. Legal hold is the single most tested topic in CHFI 4.2, Proportionality FRCP 26. The principle that limits eDiscovery scope to what is reasonable. 6 factors the court weighs. Importance of the issues at stake, amount in controversy, parties' access to relevant information, parties' resources, importance of discovery in resolving the issues, and whether burden or expense outweighs likely benefit. Practical effect. Not all potentially relevant data must be collected. If costs are disproportionate, the court may limit the scope. Early case assessment, ECA, helps quantify data volume before full collection. Tiered collection, high priority custodians get full collection. Low priority, targeted or deferred. Proportionality is the legal answer to overcollection. Use it to negotiate scope with opposing counsel. Use it to defend your collection decisions in court. Image formats, 4 to know. E01 expert witness format, the industry standard. Compression, yes. zlib, metadata, case info, examiner name, acquisition date, notes in the header, hash storage, MD5 and SHA1 inside the file. Segmentation, automatic splits into .E01, .E02, .E03, integrity, FRCP checksums throughout, hash verification built in, default choice for most investigations, AFF, advanced forensic format, open source, compression, multiple hash algorithms, AES encryption of the image, largely replaced by AFF4, the modern successor, zip-based container holding multiple streams, multiple compression algorithms, per segment integrity, native AES-256 encryption, sparse imaging support, RAW or DD format, unformatted bit-for-bit copy, no metadata container, no embedded hash, must document everything separately, maximum compatibility, any forensic tool can read it. Use when you need universal compatibility or when converting formats. Hash verification, the technical proof of authenticity. 4 algorithms to know. MD5, 128 bits, 32 hex characters, fast, cryptographically broken, collisions are possible, still acceptable for forensic verification, accidental alteration won't collide. SHA1, 160 bits, 40 hex characters, deprecated for crypto, still used in forensics. SHA256, 256 bits, 64 hex characters, collision resistant, recommended. SHA512, 512 bits, 128 hex characters, maximum security, rare in forensics. Best practice, compute both MD5 and SHA256. Compatibility plus security. Then the NSRL, National Software Reference Library from NIST. Database of hash values for known good files, OS files, application files, used during processing to exclude known files from review. Cuts review volume substantially. Also contains hashes for known bad files. Use it on every case. Without it, examiners drown in benign system files. Write protection, required before imaging, always. Hardware write blocker, physical device, preferred. Software write blocker, OS level setting, less preferred. Read-only, mount on Linux, mount-oro/dev/sdx, minimal protection. Still sends SCSI commands. Verify the blocker works before you image. Test write, dd if equals /dev/0 of equals /dev/sdxbs equals 512 count equals 1. Expected result, operation not permitted. Document the test in acquisition notes. Now metadata, 4 types, intrinsic, embedded in the file, EXIF in photos, document properties, file system, created, modified, accessed, timestamps, file size, permissions, application, author, revision history, comments in Office docs, email, sent and received timestamps, routing headers, attachment info. Always use forensic tools that preserve metadata. Simple copy operations destroy it. Hash verification proves content integrity. Metadata integrity requires separate documentation. Lock the framework. EDRM 9 stages. Memorize the order. Legal hold is written. Trigger on reasonable anticipation. Proportionality, FRCP 26, limits scope. E01 for chain of custody. DDD for compatibility. AFF4 for encrypted storage. MD5 plus SHA256, always both. NSRL to filter out the noise. Next up, Objective 5.1. Data hiding and recovery techniques. Now that you can image and produce evidence, we go into the dark side. How attackers hide data, and how a CHFI finds it.